as might be implied by my public change in politics and my sentiments on X, I disavow my second ever public essay that defended Israel. No, I'm not taking it down, because I'm not a coward. I was too self-centered and too charitable to Israel. I was wrong, just as I've been wrong about the United States, capitalism, etc. I have no shame in admitting it. I can't even bring myself to condemn the original Hamas attack that instigated the war anymore. After all, what exactly are Gazans expected to do? Accept their fate? Submit to Israeli domination forever, until they eventually decided they wanted Gaza after all, actually, and began ethnically cleansing it just like the West Bank? The indiscriminate killing of civilians may have been bad optically, but they can hardly be expected to check whether an Israeli in their sights is a Likud supporter or not, and in any case, interstate conflict is invariably collectivist, sadly. That is not to say the entire population of a country is a monolith, only that a country it has attacked cannot be expected to try to discern the loyalties of each citizen of the offender before pulling the trigger. The onus must be on the enemy citizen to overtly defect. Otherwise, they can, at best, be presumed to be a bystander. I doubt Grandma is influencing a war from her nursing home, say. At worst, an active asset to the aggressing state. I'm not going to sit here and say the RAF should have tried to dive bomb only the houses of Nazi Party members instead of carpet bombing Hamburg, for instance. So likewise, I refuse to indulge the crocodile tears of Israelis when they get killed by Iranian missiles. Stop being an expansionist, apartheid, rogue state, and perhaps some sympathy might return from me. After all, Israel is a nuclear power. No external force can directly make its government change its behavior. That burden is necessarily shouldered by Israelis themselves. But there's a caveat here that is vitally important a leftist never lose sight of, though it often is. Israel's enemies are also reactionary. They are as motivated as they are because of Israel's actions. They are as popular as they are because of Israel's actions. But make no mistake, this is a Rhodesia situation. The apartheid government must go, but do not make the mistake of thinking those resisting them are a force of emancipation beyond that. Zimbabwe was freed from white rule and subjected subsequently to one-party black rule. An improvement, perhaps, but nothing worth cheering for. Certainly not worth continuing to defend to the present day as if defeating Rhodesia means they are eternally justified in existing as they do. By the same token, opposing Israel should not be taken to mean the theocracy in Iran is good or a defensible regime. Their actions in opposing Israel are defensible, but the regime itself is nothing but an odious burden on its own population. If Iranians had decided to practice some good old Leninist revolutionary defeatism to topple it when the US attacked, that would be a good thing for Iran. Yet, and this is the problem, a large swath of the hard left would say no. Any attempt to overthrow the Iranian government aids Israel and the United States, and therefore must be crushed. Besides the inconvenient fact this implies they would have been opposed to the Russian Revolution, despite usually calling themselves Marxist-Leninists, though they never acknowledge this inconsistency, obviously, it also has the result of permanently locking in what they will endlessly claim is critical support for countries like Iran, no matter the nature of the state in question or its internal opposition. See, if you proclaim a nuclear power like the United States, and, as I said earlier, Israel as well, to be the overriding opponent of socialist action, that the destruction of the US is more important than anything else due to its outsized international footprint and being the driver of exploitative finance capitalism around the globe, you have, conveniently for America's enemies, postponed any revolutionary action in any country that opposes the US indefinitely because, as I said about Israel before, the US, as a nuclear power, is unassailable by an external adversary. This means that the US, barring internal collapse or revolution, will never go away, and that the dogged defenders of all enemies of America, Campists, we usually call them, have an eternal boogeyman they must oppose forever, and by extension, America's opponents must be propped up and supported forever, with internal opposition being put down at any opportunity and slandered as at best undermining the fight against America, at worst being CIA stooges, whether they actually are or not. This means that the opposition bloc to the US is, by this logic, locked into their present political arrangement. The current regime opposes the US, therefore it must be protected at all costs. Change can only be allowed once America falls, which may very well never happen because we can't directly take them down, so you just have to put up with whatever reactionary shithole you're stuck in forever because America bad. Even from this, it's brazenly obvious that campism is, at best, useful idiocy for opponents of the US, and at worst, a massive psyop to eternally legitimize the rule of any despot on the planet so long as he proclaims himself an enemy of America. I'm led to believe the latter to a great extent, especially since the nuclear immunity leading to eternal conflict problem is one they never acknowledge, which conveniently also allows them to justify the Russian invasion of Ukraine by deliberately refusing to engage with the fact that Russia is a nuclear power that is also immune to external attack, meaning NATO is no threat to it no matter how many of Russia's neighbors join it. Ignoring nuclear immunity kills two birds with one stone. Invading Ukraine is justified because NATO expansion indicates an intent to eventually invade Russia, and quashing all opposition to Putin, even socialist opposition, is justified because we need him to help defeat America. But beyond this, many campists take it yet further into international tribalism, as many are also third worldists who either don't think Western countries can become socialist, or if they do, they will continue to be imperialist anyway and so must still be fought. So they can shut down the possibility of creating a socialist country from both ends. You can't touch America's enemies because we need them to defeat America, and America and co. either can't be socialist and must be destroyed, or will be a bad kind of socialist and must still be destroyed, further cementing their entire worldview as dedicated to the entrenchment of any and all states that oppose the United States and its allies, to never allow for political change in these states, and to keep the US as a perpetual enemy that can never, ever be supported. Even if I am more than a little charitable and say they really do believe this, and they aren't just Russian or Chinese PSYOPs officers, they are demonstrating an utterly reactionary, tribalistic mindset that insists not just on dividing the world into two big right and wrong camps, but locking these sides in forever, defending their camp under all circumstances for all time, and attacking the opposing camp under all circumstances for all time. This is not ideologically informed. This isn't a revolutionary strategy. This is just brain-dead reactionary tribalism that only gets in the way of ever making any part of this planet a place that empowers and uplifts the masses rather than elites. Campists, whether they admit it or not, are not fighting for the proletariat. They're not fighting for a better world. They're treating the world like a football match and fanboying for some of the most hideous despots on the planet just to hurt the United States in literally any way. They don't care about the common person or their well-being. They will sacrifice all your concerns and your well-being to hurt America, and they will do it forever and call you a fascist CIA plant for daring to contradict them. Do not trust these people.